Have you ever had one of those races where on paper it should have been a bad race? There's penalties, mistakes, just general plebbery, not exactly on your best pace, not bringing your A game, but yet somehow it still turns out to be an absolutely epic race? Yeah, me neither, until this one. So, welcome to my best worst race ever. So, starting P5, you know the score by now. We always want to try and just not fight, stay in touch with people, try and stay with the slipstream. I'm sure by now you know who the front three are. Obviously very well known, very fast drivers in the game. And then Macho Monkey, you should by now know Macho Monkey's up and coming fast driver. Zuri Silva, Motor Insider is the other one you want to keep an eye on here. The four of us, Macho, myself, Zuri Silva and Motor Insider all raced each other on PS4. So we know each other from a long time, we trust each other, and the four of us end up having a really, really good race here. So this was a lot of fun, very, very surprising how this race turned out. Stay tuned for the end. The last few laps are an absolute belter. So heading around here on lap 1, just trying to stay in touch with people, not do anything stupid, don't make any mistakes. And then coming up here to this turn, I do exactly what I was trying not to do. So I'm running +5 brake balance on this car in the race to try and look after the front tyres. On that particular corner, if you just get it a little bit wrong, it's very easy to get the back end to step out on the brakes, which is what I did. As always, if you defend that situation, if I had moved over to the right-hand side to try and stop Zuri Silva from going past, the only thing that you would achieve is guarantee that 5th or 6th is the best you're going to get from the race. Whereas if I let Zuri Silva go, he's able to use his momentum to get into Macho's slipstream, and I'm able to stay in touch with them. And then you see there that Zuri Silva got himself a penalty and Macho got himself a penalty too on turn 1, but Macho already had a half-second penalty, so now it's both guys in front of me with penalties. And I've immediately realised at this moment that we're now going to lose touch with the front three, and the 4th place is the best anyone from 4th down can now get in this race. Because if you look at the distance to Felipe right now in P3 from me, we're out of his slipstream, and even if we were just about in touch on that slipstream, it's not close enough with the way this custom slips works. Plus those front three are faster than me anyway, so I do need their slipstream in order to stay with them. And then I make the exact same mistake on lap 2. So yeah, not really in my rhythm, not really in my flow yet. Red Bull is one of those tracks, I love it, but it's a very easy track to fall out of your flow and out of your rhythm with. I wasn't really sure where to go there, so I just sort of backed off and decided to be cautious. Again, there's no panic here, there's no rush, it's only lap 2. Zuri pulled over though, so I think I haven't spoken to him, but I think he saw that as his fault. But yeah, there was really nothing he did there. I mean, I don't think, it was just racing contact, it was inconsequential contact. But, you know, it's always nice to race with people of this caliber that will race clean and are fast. So Zuri's still in the race. He definitely still features in it later. Macho got himself another half-second penalty. Max P put a move on me. I didn't defend it because I didn't want to lose time, and I didn't realise he had a penalty until he got in front of me. So what I did here was bump draft him to try and say I'm not going to go for the move. Hurry up, let's catch up to Monkey. I didn't actually pull out to go for the move there. What I did was just pulled out to try and spot my braking point and then come back in, but I guess we have different break points there, and I suddenly found myself alongside without meaning to, so kind of had to stick to the move. Kind of broke my own rule about not fighting when you don't want to waste time, but it kind of worked out. Macho doesn't have a slipstream, so he is quote-unquote catchable, but he's got a penalty anyway, so that's going to bring me right back into his slipstream anyway. So now we are, the 4 of us that end up having this great race are now line astern, the other guy's right behind, and just trying to catch up to Macho Monkey. You can see the pace is not great. Like I said, Red Bull Ring is one of those tracks. I love this track. I really, really like the flow of Red Bull Ring when you get it right. And it provides racing almost unlike any other track in Gran Turismo, because you can use inside and outside lines here to both defend and attack. And if people give you room, it's a fantastic track for racing. But it's because of the way the penalties work and because of the difficulty of some of these corners, particularly turn one, it's very easy to fall out of your rhythm. And when you make one mistake, you almost make another mistake and it just compounds. And that's what this race ended up becoming. But it wasn't just me making mistakes, it's everyone really from P4 down, or these 4 drivers specifically. Zuriri Silva gave me a little bit of a bump draft out of turn one, which helped us catch up to Macho a little bit. And then you can see he went deep into the turn just then and falls back a little bit from where he was. But we got Macho slipstream, and you may have noticed there, sorry to make a highlight feature out of this, Macho, if you're watching this, but that corner is obviously Macho's Achilles heel on this race. And I understand, we've all done it, right? We all keep making mistakes sometimes and just can't get into the rhythm and can't get into the flow. So penalties play a strong part in this race. I said to Macho after this race, it was like, that race was like a game of penalties. It was literally like rolling dice, getting penalties, and then seeing who ends up where at the end of it. Fortunately, at the end, the penalties settle down, and there is a really good race that comes out of this at the end. So Macho with a 1 second penalty, looking behind, Zuriri Silva and Motor Insider are right there. And I love this situation when you're in a train with guys that you definitely know and trust. And we all know who those guys are. We all race each other all the time. But when you're in a train and you just don't quite trust the guy behind, you know he's one of those guys that likes to stick his nose in or go for moves that are very low percentage moves, etc. It puts you on edge. In this situation, I'm completely relaxed and completely calm because I trust all 3 of these guys. I know that if there is contact, they're going to understand if it's just racing contact that's largely inconsequential or whether it's actually something more. So yeah, this is a great situation to be in with friends in the game that you know and trust and you can race with. Didn't mean to do that, sorry. So, Macho Monkey serves his penalty. Zuriri Silva right in my slipstream. Even though he returned the position earlier, you can see he's got himself straight back into the race. And you can see that he ran wide there and got himself a penalty. However, so did I. Now, one thing I have learned in my time in this game, an obscure little thing that you often forget about, when you get a penalty on a track like this that's notorious for getting a penalty, always have a quick look at the guy behind and see if he got a penalty too. It's surprising how often one of the cars behind also has a penalty. And the mentality when you get a penalty, people often feel under pressure. They suddenly feel like they have to put the best possible lap they're ever going to do in their life in order to mitigate the damage of that penalty. So if you have a quick look behind you and you find out the guy behind you's got a penalty, then it kind of takes the pressure off. I remember one time when this happened to me, I got a penalty. I was trying to push in order to stay in front of the guy behind. He lined himself up to go for a move. I thought, damn it, okay, I got to let him go. I can't fight it too much. We're going to lose even more time. He got in front of me, and then I realized, oh wow, he had a penalty too. And what he was trying to do was obviously mitigate the time loss or the position loss of his penalty. If he serves the penalty in front of me, he retains the position. So, knowing that Zuriri Silva had a penalty, knowing who he is, I was pretty sure he wasn't going to go for anything. I'd also forgotten to pit on lap 5. I'm absolutely convinced that lap 5 is the optimal pit strategy. And so the other guys get a little bit of an undercut on us. And we lose, we're going to lose a little bit of time and positions here. So I was P4 heading into the pits. I was pretty sure I wasn't going to be in P4 coming out of the pits because of pitting too late and the half-second penalty. Also, notice the way I entered the pits there. Something I see, even with low A+ drivers, is that they don't attack the pit entry. Now, the pit entry on a track like this is not straightforward. It's got a braking point and a racing line, just like any other part of the track. So if you're lower ranked and you practice your pit entry, you really can gain a lot of time on people heading into the pits. In lower ranks, I think you could actually effectively pass someone being behind them going into the pits and come out of the pits in front if you attack that pit entry like I did. So predictably, Macho Monkey retained the position. I'm actually glad here that they are not any further ahead. I thought we might have lost a little bit more time than that. So 4 of us together again. The race is starting to pan out. You can see if we look behind us that Couch Driver's not quite close enough to Zeruri Silva to utilise his slipstream. So it's the 4 of us now that are going to fight over P4 in the last few laps of the race. Now coming around here again, if you keep an eye on Macho Monkey up ahead and watch his line, I think it's this lap. Yeah, there he goes. He runs wide again. Again, I'm so sorry, Macho Monkey, making a feature video out of this race. But there's another penalty. And fortunately, he's at the front of this train, right? If he was the back of this train, that puts him completely out of contention for P4, which is what we're all trying to get. So, yeah, like I said, this race was a game of penalties, and I was laughing my head off through this race so much with my mistakes, losing the back end of the car twice on the same corner, Macho's penalties, forgetting to pit, me and Zeruri Silva getting penalties at the same time. Like, it's laughable, really. It's laughable. For us lot at this level, we should be better than this, but it just goes to show that we still have bad races. So my mentality at this point was just have some fun. Like, I really wasn't trying necessarily to optimize my position. Of course, I want to try and get P4, right? Of course. But for the sake of racing fun, as opposed to increasing driver rating or sense of achievement or whatever, P4 doesn't really even gain me much DR in this lobby. So whatever, it's just a bit of fun. So my mentality, the point I'm trying to make there is my mentality is a little bit different to how I normally race. Normally I'm a lot more avoiding racing people wheel to wheel, side by side. If you watch my videos, you know I'm quite a passive driver. Because I know P4 is the best thing I can get in this race, and because I know these guys so well in terms of their racing mentality and driving standards, and I can trust them, now I'm just like, no, I'm going for this. We're racing. Even if it means I come 7th, then like if I lose this battle, then so be it. We're just going to race, we're going to have fun. So Motor Insider made a little mistake there on the exit of turn 1, ran a little bit wide, had to be careful on the throttle. I got a little bit sideways too, but I lost less time than he did, and this is where it starts getting spicy. So I'm going to talk quite quickly through a lot of this. I've got a run at Motor Insider. Macho Monkey gives me a bump draft. I've got overspeed. Motor Insider defends the inside. I've only got the outside to go. There's no other line. So let's see what happens. And oh my goodness, how are we still alongside him? When did that happen? Round the outside? Oh, but we don't have the position yet, right? So, okay, let's see if we can do it again. Brake late, give space, slow the car down excessively because you're on the outside line, rotate it, go, go, go! We're still on the outside! How am I doing this? How is this happening? What amazing racing. Okay, let's just hold the inside, park it there. There's a little bit of racing contact. Motor Insider understands what it was. It's a little bit of both. I've got to hug the apex, but he's got to turn in. It's very difficult to not have contact there, but he understands that it's not a push to pass. We weren't trying to push each other. In fact, I'd say it's slightly more him turning into me, but I mean, sound driver. He knows what he's doing. He knows what he's dealing with. He doesn't overreact. He sees it for what it is. Macho Monkey actually got the move done as well. He gives me a flash here to say, carry on. I don't want to fight you. Watch his headlights. Have a look here. There we go. Gives me a flash. He's saying, get on with it. I'm not a threat on this lap. I know full well he's going to go for it on the last lap, right? Of course you would. I would as well. Like, that's the whole goal here, right? We're racing each other. We're friends. But this is fun. So I gave him the hazard lights to say, I got you. I understand. I know he's not going to go for a move into this corner. So I don't defend it. I stay wide. I stay left. Take the racing line. Know that he's not going for a move yet. I get a bad exit. Don't quite get the power down. I think about defending it, so I come over to the right-hand side, and then I think, no. Macho's told you what he wants to do. He's not going for this to the last lap. So he gives me another bunch shaft. I give him the hazards to say thank you. I brake late. or rather I don't brake early. That's my bad. When you're given a bump draft that close to the braking zone, you just got to brake early. That's my bad. It's not Macho's fault. Macho's probably a little bit frustrated with me now, like, come on Luke, hurry up, we're trying to break away from Motor Insider. So he gives me another tap. I'm like, all right, my bad. Get your head down. That was a good corner. We're up on the personal best time. This is a good corner. All right, this is better. These are good corners. Let's have a look behind. We've got a little bit of breathing space to Motor Insider. Not much, just a tiny bit, thanks to those bump drafts. No thanks to my mistakes. We could have been further away from Motor Insider if I hadn't been making subtle mistakes that Macho Monkey was correcting for me by giving me these bump drafts. But here we go, last lap. I know he's not going to bump draft me this time, but I leave the door open, right? Because turn 1 is a difficult place to pass. Can we go side by side? Has anyone ever gone side by side through turn 1 and made it work? We just made it work. Get in. Now I've got Macho's slipstream. Let's have a look behind. Macho got a better exit, but Motor Insider is going to give me a bump draft. He gives me a bump draft. We've got the overspeed. You know where we're going, guys. Let's see it work again. We're going round the outside. Second time. How did that work? We got the better exit. The guy on the outside can get the better exit. Now I've got to defend. Now I have to defend. No one's working with anyone anymore. This is all out. Guns blazing. Best man wins. Macho tries to go around the outside, but the outside won't work there unless you are already alongside at the braking point. So just park it on the apex, get the car rotated. He tries to defend the inside, but Motor Insider gets the move done on the inside. He pulls the exact same move that Macho pulled on him, and that gives me breathing space. I've got like 2-3 tenths now of breathing space. I've got to absolutely nail it in order to retain this position. Motor Insider gets a bad exit off of that fast turn. Macho's got the slipstream. Macho pulls up alongside. What's going to happen? Motor Insider goes deep. Macho pulls up the inside. Zaruri Silva follows him through. Amazing racecraft. Motor Insider goes from 5th to 7th in one corner. I feel bad for him. But that's why I race. That race was just brilliant. That's what we race for. Clean racing. That's what happens when 4 drivers with closely matched skill and good racecraft, good situational awareness, and a desire to be clean. That's what Gran Turismo can provide you, and that was just an epic race. What turned out to be a race where I would have preferred to hold on to the front 3 guys, faster drivers, and try and stay with them and just have a safe race, ended up being an absolutely brilliant race with some of the best wheel-to-wheel racing I've ever had. Thank you for watching, and I will try to keep making interesting content. I'm not always going to go for races that are like my absolute best result. I'm kind of trying to go for races in the videos that are just interesting races that are enjoyable to watch. Thank you so much for watching. Get out of here. I will catch you guys later.